With metal detecting as a hobby becoming such a rapidly increasing interest, I'm getting messages and comments and DMs saying where can and where can I not metal detect in Australia. We're going to go over some of the main rules, regulations and basic etiquette of metal detecting in this video. So to start off with, we'll get the crystal clear one out of the way, the black and white laws in New South Wales and basically the entire country of Australia. So the first place you cannot metal detect at all under any circumstances, unless you have the holy grail of permissions, is national parks and heritage zones. Now this one is a given. National parks are areas in our country where the ecology and heritage want to be preserved for future generations and undisturbed. So that makes sense that you cannot metal detect in national parks, and the same with heritage zones. So say a heritage listed area is somewhere that is of state, national or international significance. You may be thinking, oh bummer, I can't metal detect at this amazing national park or this amazing heritage site. But you've got to think of it in a positive way on the other hand, that these sites are never going to be developed. They're never going to be bulldozed, they're never going to be destroyed, turn into an industrial site or turn into a massive casino or apartment complex. These sites are going to remain intact as they are for generations to come, hopefully centuries to come. So you've got to, this, in my opinion, is the best possible situation. I'm more than happy to not go anywhere near national parks or heritage sites. Leave that up to the National Parks and Wildlife Services and professional archaeologists, that kind of thing. So that one's pretty simple. Stay away from national parks and heritage zones. The next one is a bit of a grey area. This is sports ovals. Now there isn't a particular law against this, but it's kind of bad taste to go digging up sports grounds such as cricket fields, rugby ovals, that kind of thing, soccer fields. It's not exactly against the law, there's no law prohibiting it, but yeah, definitely stay away from those areas, otherwise it will tarnish the hobby's reputation. Now this next one is a big no-no, both ethically and legally, and that is cemeteries, graveyards, any place similar to that. Now this is an obvious one. You don't want to go grave robbing, digging up the dead. This is both a legal issue and an ethical issue. I don't know why you would want to be in a cemetery anyway, metal detecting that is. So yeah, definitely keep away from cemeteries. The places that you should focus on. Now these are places that can be enjoyed by many, across many hobbies, across many interests. Now the first one I want to talk about is state forests. This is specifically in New South Wales. So with a permit, it's about $27.50 I believe per year, which is absolutely nothing. You can get permission for many different state forests, not all of them, but many different ones around the state to prospect, fossick, metal detect, whatever you want to call it. This makes it completely legal. So yeah, state forests are a big thumbs up with permits, of course. Now to get that permit, you just go to this website here, and to learn more about it, you can go to the forestry website. They have great resources of maps of fossicking areas and state forests where fossicking is permitted. Now the next site where metal detecting is generally allowed, and I'm talking 95-99% of the time, is beaches. Now there are some beaches in popular cities where metal detecting is prohibited, and you've just got to understand that and make sure you know your locations. But generally speaking, if a beach isn't part of a national park, a heritage zone or a major city, it's usually free to go. Now when you're at beaches, one thing to keep in mind, make sure you're always filling in your holes, taking the rubbish with you. Now the next one, of course, is private property with permission, of course. Now that's in huge bold letters right there, with permission. Now there are many ways you could go around getting permission with a property owner, and depending on what kind of metal detecting you're doing, there can be certain arrangements with that property owner. Say if you're detecting for gold, you could pay per visit or pay per what you find. There is no legal outlines here, it is usually per individual. But yeah, private property, especially if you know the owner already, say a family member, colleague or friend, it can make it very easy and very exciting. Now let's talk about etiquette. Now these are the unwritten rules of metal detecting. The first one, of course, is fill in all your holes, and of course digging with the appropriate gear, and this is consistent throughout all niches within the niche, I guess you could call it, whether it's beach detecting, park detecting, detecting on farmland or gold prospecting. There are certain tools that you want for each. I'm going to mainly stress this for, say, parks and grassed areas. Check out this video up here. It's not my video, but it's an excellent video about digging a specific kind of plug that doesn't actually disrupt the grass. Now, you've opened up your hole, you've found your target, you've closed off the hole, you can't tell you've been there, but you want to take those bits of rubbish. We're not only in it to, find some cool items and some interesting pieces of history that we can learn from. We're also here to, you know, clean up the environment and do a good deed for the community. The aim is to walk away from any site you've detected and leaving it in a better condition than you found it. That's basically the overarching goal of metal detecting throughout the world, especially with the large amounts of people joining the hobby now, which is excellent. It just means that this is more important than it ever has been. Now, this one once again is an unwritten rule. Some people may disagree, but especially in, say, the UK and Europe, this is highly important, but also in Australia. If you find an item that is historically significant, whether it's to your area, to your state, or the entire country, it is best to, you know, report those items to those interested, whether it be a government body, some kind of heritage regulators. It is best to, you know, report these finds so it can be shared with the entire community, because what's the point of digging something historically significant if we can't learn something from it as a whole? Now, this next one is also a bit controversial, but there is legal implications behind it. Now, say you're at the beach, you just found an engagement ring. This ring might be worth $1,000 or more. You got to stop and think, you know, the person that lost this ring was probably in tears after they lost it. Apart from the monetary value, this ring probably holds a high sentimental value. So to get that back to the owner is just amazing. Trust me, I've done it a few times before and it's just an amazing feeling. Puts a smile on both your faces. So there is one very easy, straightforward, follow the rules method to doing this, and that is just to hand it in to the police. You hand it in, you fill out a form. After 28 days, if no one claims it, it is legally yours to do with whatever you want. Go pawn it in, sell it on eBay, wear it on your finger, chuck it on your display, whatever you want, it's yours. So anyway, that's just a short and sweet video on what you can and cannot do in the hobby of metal detecting. Just a quick recap: stay away from national parks, heritage zones, state conservation areas, anywhere that there is environmental or historical conservation going on. Stay away from those areas. You can end up being fined, losing your equipment, your car even, and it also just diminishes the perception of the hobby. And we want to try and increase and keep intact the perception that we've really worked hard to grow. And of course, the best places to metal detect: state forests with a permit, of course, beaches if they're in a zone where you can metal detect, and of course private property with permission. And of course, metal detecting etiquette: fill your holes, take your rubbish, leave the place better than you found it. Now, this is a group responsibility, and if one person ruins it, it will be a group consequence, so make sure you keep that in mind. It is pretty simple. Enjoy the hobby, and yeah, I really hope that cleared up a few questions or reinforced some previous ideas you had. And anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to. I'll see you in the next video.